Okay, so question is, how can I get a job in social media marketing without a degree? I think, let's see, there's a whole lot of context here. Okay, so let's actually read this so you guys can also have some context. This is one of the few questions that actually provide a whole thing. Okay, I'm a freelance social media manager and content creator in NYC, and I'm looking for some advice For context, I'm entirely self-made in this space. I have a degree in music business and left my job in licensing to pursue creative work. I have taught myself everything I know about social media marketing, content creation, going from zero experience to working my way to have a high-profile client who is a world-renowned investor, economist, and New York Times best-selling author. It's been about 5 years since I started working from scratch. I have been trying to use my experience to get a position at an agency, but it's been a real struggle. I feel like I'm at a disadvantage because I don't have a marketing degree. And a lot of times I feel like a fraud because there's only so much I can teach myself. I really want to get in somewhere and learn, get my hands dirty, and be part of a team. I did 2 marketing internships pre-pandemic at 30 years old to gain experience. I'm wondering if you have any advice on what I could do to get myself into a creative agency to get some real professional experience. I have a lot of skills and talent, from photography to graphic design to account management and community management. I just don't really know the best way to convince someone to give me an opportunity. I've been applying to a lot of jobs, but just no luck yet. Would appreciate any tips or advice. Thank you, Tom. Okay, this is one of the few questions that actually provide context. Yeah, that's rough. Being that it's 2021, I don't have a marketing degree. I have a degree in animation, and it's different doing client work versus trying to get into an agency. Though I personally have had opportunities to work at an agency if I wanted to. But anyway, I think one thing for me that's missing, because based off this, I see that you're working with one high-profile client. You did 2 marketing internships, but I'm not sure what else, like in terms of the other stuff. I read that you have a lot of skills from graphic design, photography, account management to community management. I guess more for me is body of work. It's because, again, just based off what I just read, it's 1 high profile client and 2 internships. So for me, that's not a whole lot of experience. And so one thing for me is to have more body of work in terms of results. Like, what have you done for that high profile client to help them grow their account, help sell their books, help them get booked for events or sell tickets, whatever it is. Because results speak louder than a degree, in my opinion. Because I've had some marketing interns where they, like, half the things we've done here in Vision Paradox, they don't learn in school. Yeah, that's definitely one thing that comes into mind is like, it sounds like you have good experience. I would want to see the results, in terms of what you provided for clients. Yeah, like I said, the results speak louder than words, and I think, and other things too, like what did you do to help manage these things? Because it could be the wording in a resume, in terms of, like, you're gonna have to, like, make it fancy it up. That just kind of like maybe a kind of resume review might be beneficial. Things that I did when I was looking for regular work was I provided not just the resume, but I also provided examples of the work of marketing campaigns, the creative, because it's one thing to talk about it, but it's another thing to actually show the work that was made, aside from just talking about the experience. It's a classic show, don't tell. And if you can do that, I think that'll definitely help out in terms of convincing marketing agencies to bring you on their team. Because now you're showing results and you're showing the actual work that was made in the whole process.
I am the perfect person to answer this question because my undergrad is psychology. So it's really far. I wouldn't say so far, but yeah, it's far from marketing per se. But I landed the job. Actually, the reason why I got into marketing is I applied for something else, and I got like social, or the marketing head said I fit in for the job. Yeah. So yes, you could. But how? As I can see here, you have already managed like content, and it was good. You got a lot of wins. So my advice to you is to nail on that content, leverage it in a way that your future employers could see your wins on how you see it. Because winning is different from letting people see how you're winning. So make sure to market yourself as effective as how you marketed your clients' content or your clients' ideas. And another suggestion is you may be good at what you're doing, but sometimes, especially corporate, they like papers. So yeah, after 6 months of being on my marketing job, I got promoted. I studied post-grad for marketing. Why? Because it's easier to be, or it's easier to get something in.
As someone who doesn't have a marketing degree as well, you can do it. It's going to be a fight for sure because we at VP, even though some of us have degrees, a lot of us have degrees, some of us have multiple degrees, we believe that college is a scam in a sense in terms of stuff like this, like marketing, social media stuff, because you taught yourself. Like this cannot be taught in college. Someone with a marketing degree may know less than you, may not know what you taught yourself. And what you taught yourself is probably more up-to-date information, because my marketing professor in community college told me that, well, told the whole class essentially that basically the second we walk out of that class, whatever we learned is already outdated. What we were learning are just the like general stuff, like this is this thing, this is how it works, this is why it's measured, this is why it's helpful to measure. But when it comes to trends, especially now, everything's changing. Especially if you're doing social media marketing, if you're doing any sort of digital marketing, it's hard. And it's gotten a lot harder because the market has been so saturated with all these people that know their way around Instagram, now they're social media man. Obviously, that's not you. That's not you, whoever you are that asked this question. Also, like, props for getting an internship at the age of 30. I'm 30 and I think I'm too old to be an intern anywhere. Also, I think I'm too broke to just intern. So essentially, from like just speaking from personal experience as someone who actually doesn't have a marketing degree, I have a business administration degree, an associate's degree. In today's kind of view of degrees, like a stilted view on like college degrees and all that, it's essentially just a slightly beefed up high school diploma. I'm not looking down on anyone with associates. Like, give your associates congrats. Essentially, like a lot of people will skip over your resume upon seeing that you don't have a bachelor's. That's like some of the sad realities for a lot of companies that have HR people that don't really look into these hiring stuff. I could go on and on about that, like, but let's talk about you. Get yourself into an agency. There's a lot of agencies that are pretty up and coming. If you're looking at a creative agency, there's a lot of like up and coming agencies or startup agencies popping up almost anywhere. And it says you're in New York City, so throw a rock, you'll find one. And okay, so Vision Paradox is not my full-time job. I have a full-time job, not at a creative agency. I do work for a nonprofit at the marketing department. And that job landed in my lap a little bit. Like, it was just a slow 5+ year landing onto my lap kind of thing. And then it really fully landed in my lap during the pandemic because I was more well-adjusted when it comes to remote work. I thrived a little bit more working from home than the rest of them. So I was able to be more efficient. I was able to put out really good stuff. I was able to prove myself, as an essential part of the team. I'm kidding. So with all this talent that you do have, because what you have right now, most companies would look at you as found money, because they will hire you as a social media manager and make you do everything from graphic design to photography, community management, and account management. So if you've seen most job postings for any company, any organization looking for a social media manager, they're looking for someone that also is a photographer, that is a graphic designer, a video editor, an account manager, community manager, and all that. And they're just going to pay you a social media manager rate. If you're willing to do that for experience, I say go for it, because there's going to be some agencies, or there's going to be some companies, not agency. Maybe start at companies, maybe get yourself into a marketing department of a company that is more than willing to hire based on equivalent experience. If you don't have the marketing degree, you have the equivalent experience, and you have that like really nice resume booster with a high profile client. Sometimes that's what companies look for, especially right now because everyone's trying to hire. But yeah, if you are willing to do that for a company and again, get your hands dirty, do everything, do all the work, do the photography, do all that, like within reason, obviously. I say go for that first. I know the draw of a creative agency is very seductive. Like, I think I would consider Vision Paradox as such, and I do love it. I do love being around, like we all work remotely, but I do love being around more creatives as opposed to just, you know, businessy type people. I don't know if that's what you wanted to hear, but that's what I would do. I would cut my teeth at a marketing department in a company, which kind of helps you get your hands on everything, because that's essentially what I did, what happened to me at my job. I did the photography. We had a graphic designer. I had to furlough a bunch of people, and it included that person. I didn't take over the graphic designing. It's kind of a collaborative thing, but yeah, I took over everything essentially, and it's not ideal. I'm not getting paid for each thing. I'm getting paid one thing to do all the things. The pay isn't that big of a deal to you, and you really just want to do the job, then yeah, keep applying for agencies. Like, it doesn't hurt. There's plenty, again, if you're in New York, there's plenty of agencies out there. Try applying for VaynerMedia while you're in New York. Gary Vaynerchuk is very notoriously considers college a scam, especially for something like that, like digital marketing. It's also, it's easy to teach yourself all these things. I don't want to say easy, but yeah, just work a job somewhere that isn't an agency. But bulk up the resume, I think. And also when you apply, I think it's important to highlight all your skills that would make you an asset to the agency. Because then if you're going to be in a room full of creatives, then what makes you any different from them? Like, what makes you stand out from them? So put your best work out there. Obviously that's a given, essentially. But yeah, best of luck to you, man. Like, you got this.
Hope that helps.